In the 1990s, in a German coal mine, workers dig up something that shouldn't exist. Long wooden spears, 8 of them, buried in the mud for 300,000 years, not sharpened sticks. Real spears, balanced like Olympic javelins, heavy at the front, built to fly straight. And here's the unsettling part. They're older than our species. The hands that carved them weren't quite human yet. So somebody, before us, already knew how to build a weapon, which raises the real question. How did ancient humans make their first weapon, and which one actually turned a slow, weak, clawless animal into the deadliest hunter on Earth? Let's rewind way past those spears, because the first weapon wasn't wood, and it wasn't even really an object. It was an idea. In a place called Lomekwi in Kenya, archaeologists found stone tools that are 3.3 million years old. Sit with that number. That's not just before humans, it's a million years before our whole genus, Homo, even existed. Some earlier creature, with a brain the size of a chimp's, picked up a rock and did the one thing no other animal on Earth does. It saw, hidden inside a plain stone, a sharp edge that wasn't there yet, and then knocked it out. That's the entire trick, and it never stopped mattering. Hit one rock against another at the right angle, and it fractures into a blade sharper than most kitchen knives. Suddenly, a creature with flat little teeth and no claws could slice through hide, crack open bone, and get at meat and marrow nothing else could reach. By around 2.6 million years ago, these sharp stone flakes were showing up everywhere our ancestors went, a whole cutting kit knocked out of pebbles. Over time, this got refined into the hand axe, a teardrop of shaped stone that our ancestors made, almost unchanged, for over 1 million years. Think about that. The hand axe is the single longest-running piece of technology in human history. Your smartphone will be lucky to last a decade. This thing was the bestseller for 1.5 million years. The first weapon was really the first thought. A rock could be so much more than a rock, but a blade in your fist still means getting close. Close enough to a struggling, terrified animal with hooves and horns to feel its breath, and close is where you die. So the next leap was about reach. First, the spear itself, like those Schöningen javelins, a long shaft that lets you strike a dangerous animal from a body length away instead of arm's length. That gap of a few feet is the difference between eating dinner and becoming it. And here's what should haunt you. We almost never find these. Wood rots. It doesn't politely wait 300,000 years for an archaeologist. The Schöningen spears only survived because they were sealed in waterlogged mud that starved out the bacteria. So for every wooden weapon we've ever dug up, there were probably thousands we will never see. The real arsenal of the ancient world has almost entirely rotted into nothing. Then came a genuinely clever move, putting the two inventions together. At a South African site called Kathu Pan, researchers found stone points that were hafted, bound onto the end of a wooden shaft, around 500,000 years ago. Now you had the reach of the spear and the killing edge of the stone in one weapon. This is a bigger deal than it sounds, because attaching one thing to another to make a third, better thing requires planning several steps ahead, imagining a tool that doesn't exist yet. A tipped spear multiplied a hunter's force and reach in a single stroke. Now, some of you are already thinking, so that's it. The spear was the first real weapon. Not so fast, because the deadliest weapon ancient humans ever made was never the spear. It was the arm that threw it. Here's something almost nobody realizes. Throwing is a superpower, and humans are the only animal on Earth that has it. A chimpanzee is 3 to 4 times stronger than you, but a full-grown male chimp trained to throw can only manage about 20 miles an hour, roughly a third of what a 12-year-old Little League pitcher does without thinking. You can hurl a rock over 90. It sounds like a joke, but it's one of the most important facts about your body. You come from a long line of exceptional throwers, because the ones who missed didn't eat. Why? In 2013, a Harvard scientist named Neil Roach showed that the human shoulder works like a slingshot. As you cock your arm back, you stretch the tendons and ligaments across your shoulder, storing elastic energy, and then release it all at once, whipping the arm forward faster than muscle alone ever could. And those features first appeared together about 2 million years ago in Homo erectus. We were literally built to throw. Do you see what that gave us? For the first time, an animal could kill from a distance. It could hurt something before that something could hurt back. No claw, no fang, no amount of muscle in the entire animal kingdom can do that. This is how a creature that couldn't outrun a deer or out-wrestle a boar started bringing down mammoths. You don't have to be stronger than the mammoth. You just have to hit it from a spot the mammoth can't stomp, again and again and again. And once we had the idea, we just kept extending the range. The spear thrower flung a dart with the force of a bigger, stronger arm. Then, around 64,000 years ago in South Africa, at a place called Sibudu, humans built the bow and arrow, a machine that stored your muscles' energy and spat it back out across the length of a field. Because here's the truth. The first weapon was never the stone, and it was never the stick. The first real weapon was distance itself. The moment one of your ancestors could kill something before it could reach them, the entire food chain flipped upside down. The prey became the only predator on Earth that strikes from far away. And that one trick, killing at a distance without risk, is a straight, unbroken line from a thrown rock, to the spear, to the arrow, to the bullet, to the drone. Every weapon humans have made since is just that same 3 million-year-old idea, reaching a little farther. So go back to those spears in the German mud. They aren't just old tools, they're a fingerprint. The exact print of the moment a slow, soft, clawless animal looked at a world full of things that were bigger, faster, and stronger, and decided it would win anyway. Not with fangs it didn't have, not with speed it couldn't grow, but with a mind that could see a blade inside a rock, and an arm that could reach across empty space and touch you from somewhere you couldn't touch back. We didn't inherit our weapons. We imagined them. Every single one, from the first sharpened stone to the last thing humanity ever builds, comes from one weak animal, sitting in the dirt, having a single dangerous thought. What if I could reach you from all the way over there? Your ancestors weren't the strongest thing in the forest. They just became the only thing the forest couldn't see coming. For more on how a fragile animal took over the planet, subscribe. This is Schöningen. And if you want to know how those same humans use these weapons to bring down animals 10 times their size, watch this next.